Customer just brought this in, drove it in. That's always awesome. He bought this car 5 or 6 years ago, I think he said. It had been wrecked. He said it was just a cosmetic wreck, but a young man had built this car and then drove it a lot. Like it's got like 20,000 miles on it since it's been rebuilt, which is awesome. Got in a wreck, sold it to the current owner. The current owner's gone through and been fixing a bunch of stuff. There's some stuff that's not quite right. And he says he just feels like it needs a little bit of a professional touch. This is what we always do. We kind of just crawl all over the car, check everything out, make sure the throttle is going to 100% with the pedal. That's a very common one that we see. A lot of people like, oh, I'd like to get some more power out of the car and just kind of talk money on, you know, a cam or headers or whatever. First thing we like to check is the throttle pedal actually opening the carburetor or EFI system the full 100%. You'd be surprised how often it's not. This one is. He made the linkage for it and he's got it set up. It's dialed in right. Older Holley carburetor on it, probably 700, 750 cc. Mildly built Ford 302 vacuum secondaries. Nice little carburetor. Make some basic adjustments. Couple things aren't in the right location. I think it's gonna be a real easy fix up. Get this thing tuned up, get it running right. The weather's changing here, so a lot of people are starting to see their carbureted cars aren't running quite like they were in the summertime. We'll get our tools out here, put a vacuum gauge on it, maybe an AFR gauge if we're feeling like having some fun and really trying it out, and get a full diagnostic on this thing. After we make sure it's safe, we'll take it out for a drive, see if we can't find some of the issues. Yeah, I think he's complaining of a little bit of a hesitation on tip in, so that light throttle to full throttle. That's a really common issue with carburetors that just aren't quite set up right, whether it's your transfer slots or an idle mixture screw, accelerator pump coming on, maybe a little early, a little late, something like that. So should be fun. Nice little carb tune, maybe change out some spark plugs, see how the oil looks, fluids change. A few little minor wiring snafus that he's telling us about, some shifter linkage adjustment, and get this boy on the road and have some fun with it. It's actually really nice. It's nice when nice cars come in. It's kind of enjoyable. Not that we hate the patina builds or the cars that are ugly or whatever, but those ones kind of break your heart because the estimate, the bill gets high in order to get them fixed. Dude drove this thing in here from like 40 minutes away, so that already tells you it's not going to cost him a lot. And get him in and out and get this thing running right. He's talking about possibly putting an EFI unit on it for him. I'll never talk people out of carburetor, and I'll never talk them out of EFI. I just try to educate them. You're never gonna fully be maintenance free with either system. You're gonna have to play with them on occasion. You know, EFI systems blow a fuse every now and then, and they're not a part of the normal fuse box. Sometimes there's inline fuses, there's inline relays and things like that. Adds possibly another diagnostic step, adds another wiring harness to the car that you have to get familiar with. And with carburetors, they need seasonal adjustment. Sometimes even more. If you let them sit, they might need to be cleaned out and whatnot. So we just try to educate and inform. If they still don't want to mess with the carburetor, then we'll go EFI. So we'll see where this one ends up. Look at this, dude. Your hose sucks. Yeah, it sounds like it's vacuum leaking before I took that off too. The idle mixer screw not doing anything? That ain't right.
There we go. He put things over it.
Oh,
so I was like,
covers on them?
Yeah, I was like, that ain't right.
That's like from shipping. That means this thing's never been tuned. No. Well, that's good because maybe nobody's ever messed with it. When you're doing these idle mixture screws and you have them all the way in, it should just bog down. All right, so all the way in, both mixture screws should die. There's a vacuum leak somewhere.
Grab that gasket for you. Yep.
That one's okay. Maybe it could use a little adjustment.
That gas is hot.
Yeah.
Hear it? That's better.
There you go. Pulling 16 right there. 17, that's good.
At 10, and it's reading on the marker dead nut. So that's 10 degrees right there. You hear it changing now, how it just cleaned up? Yep.
Yeah, see, she's up to 19 now.
She's going in just a little bit more. Right there.
19 solid. That's perfect. So go 1500 and hold, and then 25 and then hold. $25 and hold. Stab. Chris. So you guys want to recap what we've just done. Obviously it had a small vacuum leak. Transfer slots are slightly overexposed, so that when Phil made that idle speed adjustment there, that exposed less of your transfer slot. Both of those two things together kind of brings back your ability to adjust your idle mixture, and you actually get a reaction out of the engine. That brings all of the control of the fuel mixture at idle back to the screws. Pulling, what was it, 14 initial vacuum when we first fired it up? When it first came in, 14 inches? 14 inches, and I think it's pulling 19 or 20 now. That's it, basic stuff there. So when you first put the carburetor on, if you go through the manual, they'll tell you make sure the transfer slots aren't overexposed more than 20 or 30 thousandths. They should look like a little square. You put your idle mixture screw in. Well, I thought the book said one screw. Phil says quarter turn?
They're always quarter turn.
Quarter turn.
You always want to start out with a baseline. If it's a brand new carburetor, they're already quarter turned out, and then you make your adjustments from there. Say you rebuild a carburetor completely, sometimes you have to take the idle mixture screws all the way out, clean everything, put it back in. So you go all the way in, quarter turn out, just like they did, say like Holly did. Or
there's a default setting for everything. Take it back to default. That's kind of what we did. Initially replace that gasket, take everything back to default, check timing, and then adjust fuel. Get your idle speed with timing, good stable vacuum, move to fuel. And since this is a mildly built engine and an out-of-the-box carburetor, carbs are designed to work with the most common engine builds, as long as you don't oversize them or anything like that. That off-idle stumble is already gone, at least in the shop. We'll see about how it drives on the street, but it's pulling, was it 21 or 19 that it finished out at? A really good idle vacuum, but a significant improvement, like 40, 50% improvement in vacuum at idle. And so the important part here is your manifold vacuum is fuel signal, right? So that is what's telling the carburetor how much fuel to deliver. If you don't have stable fuel pressure and you don't have stable or appropriate idle vacuum, you'll just chase your ass with the mixture screws. It's not gonna ever line up right. Take it back to stock or default settings, work from there. And that's what Phil did, and the gauge confirms.
the only thing I see is just like that marine box right here.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an excessive amount of wires. It just seems like way too much for a carbureted 302. But I know he's got an auxiliary fuse box that he's ran some items off of down here. He's got like a touch screen, and I'm guessing there's no boombox back there. I didn't see anything like that. But he's got some car audio, so some of that may be coming up into here. Shoot, man, I think she's safe enough for a ride, you know, now, and off idle stumble's done. Check plugs maybe and see if they need a quick tune-up. Nice proper execution of the basics there.
These are lift shackles, and I just drilled a hole in them. That way I can lower the rear end a little bit, because we don't have stock shackles. Eventually we're gonna go to stock shackles to see if the riding quality will better itself.
So it's body. Yeah, that's what we're doing. 13 and a half instead of 10.
They had truck shocks on a Mustang. Here it is. That, if you could see it, is a normal shock. Shock that should be on there, and then the one that they had on there. That's the actual one that should be on there. And then that's a truck one. I mean, you could just tell by the bushings alone. That is a huge difference.
It's riding a lot better. It's pretty smooth. It's just sporty though. I think he's got a quick ratio steering box in it. See how much action you get out of just a little bit of the wheel? See that? I mean, I'm changing lanes with a 16th of a rotation on the steering wheel. That's tight. You're not gonna fall asleep safely behind the wheel of this vehicle. Not a great buzz driving platform, but overall it's riding a lot smoother than it was. Yeah, it was pretty rough. Yeah, I think the steering box is, I mean, that's you get a lot of actual car movement out of very little wheel movement. Take a little backcountry road here. A few good bumps on this thing. See how it's riding. This turn right here, every car, even my brand new car, eats this bump right here, right here. I took it really well. It's because you're turning and it's banked, but then there's also a pothole in it, sort of, or a sinkhole underneath. So usually you hear get a big bounce out of it. This thing ate it up pretty good. One of the things I don't like about these earlier Mustangs, especially the 65 and 66, 64 and a half. We've worked on a few of those, and people build them out a little too racy, and they get hard to drive in. 4-corner disc brakes, 4-corner, Pro Touring suspension, 4-corner, the chassis stiffeners and all that stuff. And on paper, it looks great. But then you're going down the road like this, I mean, that car's built for the track at that point. This car drives actually pretty smooth. It's still a little bumpy. It's got a heavier leaf spring in the back, which 67 does have. It has a 5-leaf pack. And then I think the 64 and a half to 66 is a 4-leaf pack. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the dampener's doing its job, but this thing's a little bit like a buckboard. It's better than it was. I'm trying to figure that out. Feels a little bit too springy for me. It's pretty good. I mean, I'd say it's a pretty smooth ride. The camera will tell you whether it's a smooth ride or not. Bouncing all around. I'd say it's pretty good. These are brand new, so hopefully these shocks break in a little bit over the next couple 100 miles and add a little additional dampening to it. Good little cruiser here. You can tell it's really reliable. It's got 20,000 miles on it. And this guy has had this car for like 5 or 7 years. So that's really good in my opinion. Put 20,000 miles on a classic car in, let's say, 7 years. Most people don't put 20,000 miles on their classic car in 10 years. Most people just drive it a couple 100 miles here and there. Just got a little bit of pickup. They're adjustable, they're threaded, so we can lower the one down. But it's still, that thing's still like a buckboard, man. Yeah, it's like a 3/4 ton truck.
an oil change a success.
Just checking fucking oil on the damn thing.
You gotta dry. And then after you dry, you gotta go back and fuck it. Wipe it down again. Dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. What was it? Carb tune. We adjusted the exhaust, the rear shackles, new shocks, adjusted suspension for ride quality. We adjusted the shifter so it shifts smoothly when you put it into gear and out of gear. Yeah, it rides a whole lot better now. Trying to get this black to be clean. We specialize in reliability and not bullshit. We got a trailer right there. That's our new trailer. That ain't meant for no project car. That ain't meant for shit we built. That's meant for shit we're picking up to fix. Look at that stain coming off this motherfucker.